Hey guys, it's Thursday. So, I got the book yesterday. I finally came to the library, which I'm very thankful for that, because if it didn't come before today, I was going to have trouble trying to find a new place, because I'm here today at the food court at the student center school. There are people, as you can see. So, and I got the first chapter, which is only 5 pages, so I'll read that for you guys, then I'll read the rest, but here we go. While enthusiasts and detractors will continue to empty entire dictionaries attempting to describe or deride it, authenticity still remains the world most likely to stir a debate. In fact, this leading obsession to validate and invalidate the reels of tapes invariably brings up a collateral and more general concern whether or not, with the advent of digital technology, images has forsaken its once unimpeccable hold of the truth. For the most part, skeptics call the whole effort a hoax, but grudgingly admit the Navidson report is a hoax of exceptional quality. Unfortunately, out of those who accept this validity may tend to swear allegiance to the tabloid UFO sightings. Clearly, it is not easy to appear credible while after vouching for the film's verity. The discourse suddenly switches to why Elvis is still alive and probably wintering in the Florida Keys. One thing remains certain. Any controversy surrounding Bill Myers' film on flying saucers has been supplanted by the house on Ash Tree Lane. Though many continue to devote substantial time and energy to the entities of fact or fiction, represent or artifact, document or prank, as of late, the more interesting material dwells exclusively on the interpretations of the events within the film. This direction seems more promising, even if the house itself, like Melville's behemoth, remains resistant to summation. Much like its subject, the Navidson report itself is also uneasily contained, whether by category or lection. If finally catalogued as a Gothic tale, contemporary urban folk myth, or merely a ghost story, as some have called it, the documentary will still sooner or later slip the limits of any one of those genres. Two important things in the Navidson report just past the borders, where one might expect horror, the supernatural, or traditional paroxysms of dread and fear. One discovers disturbing sadness, a sequence on radioactive isotopes, or even laughter over a Simpsons episode. In the 17th century, England's greatest topographer of the world's satanic and divine warned that hell was nothing less than a region of sorrow, doleful shades, where peace and rest can never dwell, hope never comes at all. Thus echoing the words copied down by hell's famous tourist, Dian se amino lur cos create no se non inter de etos duro la que entree. Even today, many people still feel the Navidson report, in spite of all the external refinements and contemporary illusions, continue to reflect the exact sentiments. In fact, a few intellectuals have already begun to treat the film as a warning, as it warns in it of itself, perfectly suited for hanging above the gates of such schools as architecture, pompomo, consequential, neoplastism, phenomenology, information theory, Marxism, biosemiotics, and say nothing of psychology, medicine, New Age spirituality, art, and even neo-minimalism. Well, Navidson, however, remains stalwart, and his instance of his documentary should be taken literally, as if he himself says, all this, don't take it as anything else but this. And if one day you find yourself pacing by that house, don't stop, don't slow down, just keep going. There's something there, beware. Considering how the film ends, it's not It is not surprising that more than a handful of people have decided to heed his advice. The Navidson record did not first appear as it does today. Nearly 7 years ago, it surfaced was the fire with the 5.5-minute hallway. The 5.5-minute optical illusion barely exceeding the abilities of the New York University Film School graduates. The problem, of course, was the accompanying statement that the acclaim, all of it was true. One continuous shot, Navidson, whom we never really see, momentarily focuses on the doorway of the north wall of his living room before climbing outside the house through the window to the east of that door, where he trips slightly on the flower bed, redirects the camera from the ground to the exterior clapboard, then moves right, crawling back inside the house through the second window, this time to the west of that door, where we hear him grunt silently as he knocks his head on the still illicit light, laughter from those in the room, presumably Karen, his brother Tom, and his friend Billy Reston. Though like Navidson, they too never appear on camera, before finally returning us to the starting point, thus completing the circling the doorway, and so proving beyond a shadow of a doubt the insulation or siding is not only a possible thing this doorway could lead to, which is when all laughter stops as Navidson appears in frame and pulls open the door, revealing a narrow black hallway at least 10 feet long, prompting Navidson to reinvestigate, once again leading us on another circular ambition of this strange passageway, climbing in and out of windows, pointing the camera to where the hallway should extend, but finding nothing more than his own backyard, no 10-foot protuberance, just rose bushes, a muddy dart gun, and the translucent summer air. In essence, an exercise in disbelief which, despite his best intentions, still takes Navidson back inside impossible hallways until the camera begins to move closer, threatening this time to actually enter it. Karen snaps, "Don't you dare go there again, Navy." To which Tom adds, "Yeah, not such a hot idea," thus arresting Navidson at the threshold, though he still puts his hand inside, finally retracting and inspecting it, as if by seeing alone that there might be something more to feel. Reston wanted to know the fact his friends does sense something different, as Navidson providing the matter-of-fact answer, which also serves as the conclusion, however abrupt, to the bizarre shot. "It's freezing in here." Dissemination of the 5.5-minute hallway seems to be driven by curiosity alone. No one ever officially distributed it, and so it never appeared in film festivals or commercial film circles. Rather, VHS copies were passed around by hand, a series of progressively degenerate dubs of a home video revealing a truly bizarre house, with notably very few details about the owner or, for that matter, the author of the piece. Less than a year later, another short surfaced. It was more hotly sought after than the 5.5-minute hallway, and resulted in some fervent requests for Navidson and the house itself, all of which, for one reason or another, failed. Unlike the first, this short was not continuous shot, prompting many to speculate the 8 minutes making up Exploration number 4 were, in fact, bits of a much larger video. The structure of Exploration 4 is highly discontinuous, jarring, and as the evidenced by many poor edits, even hurried. The first shot catches Navidson mid-phrase as he is tired, depressed, and pale. Dazed, I think, and I don't know. Drink of something unclear or what. Actually, I'd like to burn it down. Can't think clearly enough to do it though. Laughs. And now this. The next shot jumps to Karen and Tom arguing over whether or not to go in after him. At this point, it remains unclear to whom they are referring. There are several more shots. Trees in winter, blood on the kitchen floor, one shot of a child, Daisy, crying. Then back to Navidson. Nothing but this tape, which I've seen enough times, is more like a memory than anything else. And I still don't know. Was he right or just out of his mind? Followed by 3 more shots, dark hallways, windowless rooms, stairs, then a new voice. I'm lost, out of food, low on water, no sense of direction. Oh God, the speaker is a bearded, broad-shouldered man. with frantic eyes. He speaks rapidly and appears short of breath. Holloway Roberts, born in Melbourne, Wisconsin, bachelor's from the University of Massachusetts. There's something here. It's following me. No, it's stalking me. I've been stalked by it for days, but for some reason, it's not attacking. It's waiting for something. I don't know what. Holloway Roberts, Menomoine, Wisconsin. I'm not alone here. I'm not alone. Thus bringing to an end the strange abstract which, as the release of the Navidson record revealed, was sparingly incomplete. Then for 2 years nothing. Few clues about who any of these people were, though eventually a number of photographs in the news community did recognize the author, and none other than Will Navidson, the prize-winning photojournalist who won the Pulitzer for a picture of a dying girl in Sudan. Unfortunately, his discovery only generated a few months of heated speculation before the absence of press corroboration and location of the house, or for that matter, any comment by Navidson himself. The interest died out. Most people just wrote it off as some weird hoax or because of the unusual conceit of the aberrant UFO sightings. Nevertheless, the deteriorating dubs did circulate in some trendy academic circles and a debate began. Was the subject a haunted house, or what did Holloway mean by lost? How could anyone be lost in a house for days anyway? Furthermore, what was someone like Navidson's credentials doing creating two strange shorts like these? And again, what is artificial or reality? Certainly a good deal of debate was sustained by a bit of old-fashioned cultural elitism. People talked about the Navidson pieces because they were lucky enough to have seen them. V. Sinclair suspects a majority of professors, students, Soho artists, avant-garde filmmakers who spoke and even wrote so knowingly about these tapes, more than likely had never even viewed one frame. There just weren't that many copies available. While the 5.5-minute hallway and exploration number 4 have been respectively called a teaser and a trailer, they are also, in their own right, particular cinematic moments. On a purely symbolic level, they afford a vast potential for examinations and impressions of space, the power of imagination, and to decompress that space. The house is a token for the unlimited and unknowable, etc., etc. On a strictly visceral level, they provide ample shocks and curiosities. However, the most unnerving aspect about both pieces is their ability to convince us that everything really happened, some of which can be attributed to the verifiable elements, Holloway, Roberts, Will Navidson, etc., while all of which must be chalked up to the starkness of the production, the absence of makeup, expensive soundtracks, or crane shots. Except for framing, editing, and in some cases subtitles, there are virtually no room for creative intrusion. Who would have suspected that almost 3 years after the 5.5-minute hallway began appearing on VHS, Miramax would quickly release the Navidson record in a limited run and almost immediately unsettle audiences everywhere. Since the opening 3 years ago, last April, in New York and Los Angeles, the Navidson record has been screened nationwide, and while hardly ever a blockbuster, the film continues to generate revenues as well as interest. Film periodicals frequently publish reviews, critics, and letters. Books devoted entirely to the Navidson record now appear with some regularity. Numerous professors have made the Navidson record required viewing for their seminar, while many universities already claim that dozens of students from a variety of departments have completed doctoral dissertations on the film. Comments and referencing frequently appear in Harper's, The New Yorker, Esquire, American Heritage, Vanity Fair, Spin, as well as on late-night television. Interest abroad as equally intense. Japan, France, and Norway have all responded with awards, but to this day, the spectral Navidson has yet to appear, let alone accept any of these. Even the garrulous Weinstein brothers remain unusually reticent about the films and its creator. Interview magazine quoted Harvey Weinstein as saying, "It is what it is." The Navidson Nevinson record now stands as part of this country's cultural experience. In spite of the fact that hundreds and thousands of people have seen it, the film continues to remain an enigma. Some insist that it must be true. Others believe that it is a trick on par with the Orson Welles radio romp, The War of the Worlds. Others could care less, admitting that either the Nevinson record is a pretty good tale, still many more have never even heard of it. These days, the unlikely prospect of any sort of post-release resolution or revelation, Nevinson's film seems destined to achieve at most cult status. Good storytelling alone will guarantee a healthy sliver of popularity in the years to come, but its inherent strangeness will permanently bar it from the mainstream interest. So there you have it. That's the first chapter of House of Leaves. And from what I've looked in it so far, I gotta say, it's interesting. So I look forward to reading the rest of it. And I will see you guys next Thursday.